going on with your horoscopes for the week of Tuesday, October 8th to Tuesday, October 15th. Aries, what am I getting for you? Aries, I have some almost like a nervous energy. I have like, if you remember being a kid, if you were a nervous or high-strung type of a child, they may have called you hyperactive, or you may have just noticed that you were like that sometimes or in certain situations. You may have noticed a lot of knee tapping, you know, where your foot's always bouncing, a lot of clicking of the pen, or a lot of like, you know, playing with toys. These days they have fidget spinners and things like that that will help a kid to get some of that energy out. I feel like that's where you are this week. And the other thing that I'm seeing with that type of energy is a spirit guide coming in, or male ancestors coming in and whispering in your intuitive ear, your right side, which is going to mean that they're giving you the information and the guidance through your own psychic ability or through your own higher mind. Sometimes when spirit communicates with us, they're directly giving the messages. Other times, they're directing and guiding you to think of it yourself. So this is a week of processing on your own with their guidance, but really more coming from you wholeheartedly. And I feel that some of this direction is getting split. A lot of you Aries are trying to either resolve issues or create progress in your personal relationships. For some, it feels like love, but for many, it feels more like family dynamics. So whether this is with your kids and or your grandchildren through your children, and or the other area seems to be work and money. For many of you, it's waiting on a promotion that you thought was coming. It's going back to the drawing board and pushing again and asking and saying, you know, I'm still here. I'm really very much deserving of that other position. And for some of you, it feels more like it's about bringing in a client. It's about signing on to a new job that could give you quite a few months of work. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead, but for the next 7 months, the decisions that you make this week and for the next 2 weeks are going to be affected. So be mindful about the choices that you're making. And in those interactions with the people that I mentioned, family, children, your lovers, you want to make sure that you're being very careful about how you say it, because there seems to be a lot of like hot button issues or a sense of resistance. There could be people in your life that are sort of pushing you out. Maybe they don't want your guidance. Maybe they don't want your help. Maybe they do and they resent that they do. Whatever the nature of the situation is, you're going to have to do it, I want to say, with a tender heart and a soft approach, with a sort of graceful nature about you. And it doesn't feel like that's going to come very naturally, okay? I just see you kind of like the bull, just coming in and handling it and being like, well, this is what's best. Not if it's not delivered properly. It won't be what's best because it won't even be accepted. It'll actually be almost like, you know, there will be a rebuttal there and it will fall to the wayside. Be mindful about how you handle things. I'm also hearing Monday and Tuesday, money, 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 money. I feel that you could have some business opportunities. It's almost like grab the cash, take it. It's been there for a minute, but you couldn't, it's almost like you couldn't have it yet. Okay, so you take this, put it in the bank, build upon it, use it to build, use it to invest, I'm hearing. Taurus, what is going on with you this week? Taurus, you're finding yourself in a position this week to speak your truth, to sing, to share your voice, to tell a story through your words, to tell a story through your life. And it doesn't necessarily have a ton to do with how well it's received. This has more to do with what you're called to say. If you're called to do a certain task, if you're called to help a certain person or situation, and if you're called to say something in the world, it rarely matters how it's received. The bottom line is, if you get tied up in all of that, well, what if this? Well, what if it's rejected? You know, well, what if I do it wrong? If you get tied up in that, you probably won't do it. The average person will at that point give in to fear and ego and put their tail between their legs and crumble. So you can't do that. I see you staying very centered, very focused in the here and now, in the present moment, and just staying really connected to spirit, connected to your higher mind. and saying, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is the example I'm going to set. And it's almost like if there are bows and arrows and talk of rejection or people laughing at it or people saying, oh, well, that's foolish to give that much. You're just like, nope, doing it, loving it while I do it, doing it more, doing it even more. Look at this, enjoy the show, da-da-da-da-da. You keep going, you keep going. This is what is highly recommended for you to do in this situation this week. Now, this is really going to peak on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday into the afternoon and evening. What this leads to, if you so choose to do it and allow it to play out, it will lead to new footing, new ground. I see you in bare feet, but I see you on very soft soil. Even something that looks very similar to sand or like a nice clay. This is a really great symbol of potential prosperity, new beginnings, new earth, new footing. And I find it to be really exciting and actually very comforting. This has a lot to do with your self-development, but also where you'll be going in the future, understanding how you're guided by the universe, your higher mind, God, and not wavering like you used to. But it has a lot also to do with your work and money. So this is going to direct your new path. For some of you, I see you moving also. And it seems to work out really easily. For those of you who were tied up and you were trying to move for a while and it wasn't working out, now it's sort of like the doors are opening over the course of this week, but also the next 3 weeks. Gemini, my fellow Geminis, what is happening with you this week? Okay, I feel people talking at you from every angle. And I thought it was coming from ancestors and guides. And then I'm realizing that some of it is your own head. So my fellow Geminis would understand this. Probably is your own head. It's probably the voices in your head. It's conflicting thoughts, not though in the sense that they're in rebuttal against each other or that they're rebuking each other, but more in the sense that they're all happening simultaneously. And when that's going on, you have a sense of, I must get this done. I must get this done. This is on a deadline. Or if I'm not paying close enough attention, or if I don't do this just right, I don't make the right decisions, then it might not pan out in the best favor. And a lot of this is going to have to do with who you delegate to, who you place where, and who you're getting involved in your choices. So whether this be personal, this be business, it's all about who is around me this week and who am I going to keep, where do they belong, and where do I want to set proper boundaries. Now, the thing about this is it is also being guided and directed from the other side. So it is your ancestors, your spirit guides, telling you that they validate what you're thinking. So this week, I really don't see you being very confused, even though you could have a lot going on in your head and a lot of direction being given. It doesn't seem like you don't know what to do. So don't second guess yourself. Just keep going forward. You might find that a business deal is coming up for you on Wednesday, where a stack of money, so to speak, is being presented to you. Now, it looks lovely and it looks easy and it looks like the kind of thing that would be a no-brainer. Of course, I'm going to take this stack of money and I'm going to use it to build my empire. Of course I am. However, on each side, on either side, I see some kind of, it's almost like strings attached to this prize. It's almost like there are potential roadblocks or there's fine print. There seems to be something having to do with where this money came from originally or why it's actually being presented to you, as well as what this means in the future. So you might want to read the fine detail and you might want to even analyze this a little bit more closely, step back, talk with your guides and your higher mind and God about it and say, as I approach this, I'm going to ask the right questions, because what if it isn't even in the fine print? What also does this mean for your future? If you take this and it's going to have strings and cords attached to it into your future, is that something you want to carry around? Because unfortunately, you can't have the middle bit without either side. Okay, so we're going to have to analyze this. little bit more carefully. I do sense someone coming in trying to talk to you, Gemini, and you being a bit insensitive this week. So whether this be a child, and they're not very good at making it clear that they need your time, this be a friend, this be a family member or your lover, try to be mindful. I even see for some of you a boss coming to you and needing your help and you being like, whatever, you know, and it just sort of going right over your head. Be mindful of who is trying to get your attention this week, especially Thursday and Friday. Cancers, my fellow Cancers, what do we have going on this week? I see a lot of comfort food eating. Comfort eating. That's not, don't eat that much spaghetti. You don't need a third plate. You don't need a fourth piece of cake. It's like you're going to have to watch your emotions this week. There's some talk of the moon. Astrologically, I don't understand what's going on. You can ask our astrologer, Christina Del Rey. But there's some talk of the moon, and there's some talk of you being affected by shifts. So there could be some planetary stuff going on that might cause you to feel insecure. And I honestly don't see any need for it. So when I look at your life circumstances, I think that you're feeling a lot more of rocking the boat than what is actually being rocked. I also get a funny sense that you are feeling nervous, and it's almost like, oh my gosh, something's coming in. I want to say this. This is good for especially Pisces and Cancers, but anybody who's intuitive, and we're all intuitive, so be mindful. Some have it to a heightened degree. The psychic mind sees the end result. Now, when that happens, that means that when a lot of energy starts to come in, you don't necessarily know what it means. Maybe you're going to win the lottery. Maybe the house is going to burn down. Maybe you're going to, maybe somebody's going to propose to you. Maybe your car's going to completely crap the bed, and that's the end of it. Who knows? You are just going to feel it as though something is coming. And it could very well make you nervous, anxiety-ridden, and uncomfortable. Hence the third plate of spaghetti and the fourth piece of cake. So I want you to calm down this week. Do a lot of exercising. Make sure you're putting Epsom salt in the bottom of your shower to pull out negative energy, and make sure that you're getting in touch with nature. Be active and communicate. Your dreams are going to be extremely, extremely vivid. For those of you giving messages, prophetic dreaming for you this week, 3 days in particular, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For those of you who've been trying to have a baby or adopt or expand upon your family, this can also include marriage. For some of you, I'm feeling almost like bringing in a new vehicle or a house. This could be a great week for that, but more toward the end. So it's sort of like wait for it. And then Saturday, actually, which is not a weekday or a business day, rather, I'm hearing some breakthroughs. So congratulations on all of that. Leos, what is going on with you, Leos? Leos, I'm feeling a bit of circumstance potentially holding you back, and you feeling as though these circumstances have become a ball and chain. You want out. You want more freedom. You want to finally be relieved of these issues, and you're feeling as though no help is coming in. Some of you are pushing so hard for that change. You're pushing so much. This one just got interrupted. I'll let you deal with it. You're pushing so much that you're starting to feel as though I'm the only one who loves me. I'm the only one who cares about this situation. There's never going to be a breakthrough, woe is me, and I'm a victim to the circumstance, and I can't take it anymore. It's like I can't go up this mountain any higher. And I feel like you need to really examine and listen very carefully to the direction your higher mind and spirits have been giving you, because you're not supposed to be putting in that much effort. You're not supposed to be fighting that hard. It isn't really for you to do right now. We're waiting on a couple things to work out for your circumstances to let loose. For some of you, I do feel that I'm talking about money. I feel like you're waiting on a piece of money to come in to purchase something that you really need. So whether this is about refinancing your mortgage, or it's about getting a house, or it's about stabilizing your living situation, including a vehicle, it feels like it could be that. For some of you, I really feel like you're dealing with more mental health and emotional issues, and you're going to be figuring out how these are actually affecting your personal relationships this this week, but not only that, meaning that others might be telling you things or giving you guidance. Now, they probably don't understand that they're doing that, and you may not address it as being that, but just keep your ears open. They are giving you feedback. I also think that you're really going to be examining the choices that you've been making and the way that you've been feeling with your mental and emotional state and how it's affected all the decisions you've made up until this point. So you may be looking way back into your past, like childhood, concepts I've learned, who am I? This could be a big week of development for you. Somebody could be coming in, offering you a lot of fun on Saturday or Sunday, almost like, come and get your feet wet, come and take a trip with me, come on the boat, come and let's go do this. And you could be like, oh, I don't know, and then you're like, okay, yeah. And I feel like you should go. Virgo, what is going on with you this week? I have almost like a back-breaking type of a pressure going on with you where you're feeling like, oh, it's too much. I've been working too hard. There's too much on me. I have your guardian angel coming up behind you, kind of pulling your head up and pulling your back, straightening your back out and trying to give you strength in this. My sense here is that you could have a lot of male ancestors also doing this for you. And your protector guide. Whenever I see protector guide, I start to understand things as being potentially threatening or potentially dangerous. What that can mean is that you're pushing things to a point where you're out of balance, you're out of whack, and some negative energy could potentially get in. So you're really going to have to straighten out your priorities this week, meaning make yourself one of them. It's not all about the work. I do understand that it's been nose to the grind time for you. So I always, as a business owner, find it really annoying when people are like, you need to slow down. I'm like, you need to run 4 businesses and raise 3 kids. And yeah, like that's just more annoying than anything. When you literally cannot find the time to slow down, you're going to have to do it in smaller increments. You're going to have to do it in other ways and think outside the box. Sort of like pay attention that your body isn't tensing up when you're driving. Take deeper breaths. Stop for 2 minutes a few times a day to regroup and get centered and clear out negative energy. There are a million little tricks that you can do to sustain yourself while you build this empire. And you will have another opportunity coming in to make even more money and to expand upon your work. For those of you that are in a creative field where I feel like, for some of you, I feel like I'm listening to guitars. So it could be any instrument, but I feel especially like for those of you that play stringed instruments. So anyone who makes music, any artists out there, and anyone who's running their own business or looking for promotion in your work, you guys might really be in a unique position to move up another level if you have been, for those of you who are working under bosses, if you've been close to the boss, okay? But anyways, outlets. And I feel that if you don't learn this lesson on maintenance, positivity, taking care of yourself, staying centered, you could forfeit that benefit. So don't say, oh, that's not important for me to do right now. Oh, yeah, it is. That's how the universe works. It doesn't work by logic. Libra, what is going on with you? Libras, I have you dancing, and it's almost like you're dancing with yourself. I have you dancing with your spirits and your ancestors, but that's not really the focus. They're there with you, but it's really more you. I have you celebrating your life. And I have you saying for the first time in a really long time that you want that personal space, that you're going to take that for yourself, and that you want to just sort of get away, pull back a little bit, and look at this sort of like this masterpiece, that I've built. I want to just observe it and enjoy it for a little while. And I have you becoming a bit nostalgic and enjoying not only the concepts of the places you've been and the things that you've done, but also the people that you've connected with over the course of your life and who's there for you still in spirit. I have you embracing all of this. And then it seems to me like a bunch of bricks kind of come, over here to the future, tumbling down, requesting your attention. Now, that doesn't mean that there's any major mishap that's going to occur, but if there are maybe people who don't know how to do their job, or there are people that aren't very efficient, if you are more equipped and capable, in different social situations and in work situations, or even in family situations, you might be called to take all of those bricks and put them back together and rebuild on the foundation. For some of you, I do see a lot of talk of love. So for some, you may be noticing that the relationship that you've been in is sort of taxing on you, and you feel that your partner is always, or you have a series of partners that are always like needy. I think you really need to reevaluate how much of that you want to tolerate. For others, I feel someone coming into your life from your past. Now, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean your past in this life. This could be from a previous life, but someone significant in love is coming in. And so I do see a soulmate connection and an interesting week in romance. Pay attention for this Tuesday and Friday night and Saturday morning and afternoon in particular. Scorpio, what's going on with you? Scorpio, I have you digging and really cultivating in the earth quickly. And I don't know that it has to be done that quickly, but I feel that your amount of energy is making it go very quickly. So I see you really digging and trying to work. It's almost like before the winter comes type of an idea, or before, I run out of time, or before there's a change in circumstance. And my sense here is that you're almost having a sense of anxiety that something could be lost if you don't move at that rapid rate. And then I see your ancestors, your spirit guides pulling you back from the situation, forcing you to let the dirt go, and they're showing you the reality, okay, the bigger picture, and that there is no sense of time here. That's an illusion, that there is no restraint, that just because you felt that didn't mean that you were supposed to give into it. It was something that you were supposed to combat. It was something you were supposed to use in conjunction with your self-control, and you weren't supposed to let your emotions run away without you. You were supposed to go by your gut instinct and be rooted and grounded through the process. Follow your, intuition instead of your feelings. Remember, those don't always pair up very nicely. So I want to say that what you're feeling may not match what you're supposed to be doing. It's not to say that what you're working on is wrong. It's just that it isn't best to come from a place of ego and speed and control and force. Allow for more of the process. I'm also supposed to talk to you a little bit about who you are in your development and some of the relationships that you have, romantic or otherwise. Are these really what is best? Is this really where you belong right now? If you're having to force it, it's entirely possible that it doesn't belong there anyways. So do a really good assessment on what would happen and test it out. I mean, actually pull your energy back even and see. But what would happen if you weren't leading and guiding and corrupting it the entire time to force things to look the way that you thought they should, or the way that you want them to be? Would those people still be there? And would you want that if they don't actually belong there? I see some new beginnings going on for you. I also see you getting more in power, more in control come Thursday and Friday of this week if you allow yourself to give up the control and go with the flow. So it's an interesting dichotomy. Sagittarius, what is going on with you? Okay. I see quick feet with you. Sagittarius, I see an uplifted kind of a week. I see a lot of high energy. I see some of you listening to me and being like, that can't possibly happen after what I just came out of last week. Well, there's that too, but it's sort of like you can't stay low forever, right? You got to go back up at some point. So for those of you who had a really rough week last week, it could be looking like, you're just recouping. And for others, I get a sense of actually a peak, a high, a lot of joy, a lot of celebration. And I see you with this energy asking yourself, what should I put this into? My feeling here is that for some of you who have been debating on a shift in career or going back and getting more education or a specific training, I see doors of wisdom opening for you. And so this is going to be a great time for you to go register, take that class, get that certificate, invest in that training. For others, it's going to be more about learning and expansion in your own right. And I see a lot of, I want to say, parental guidance coming to you. People that are mentors, people that are bosses, people who do what you want to do, people that are in positions of power in some way, who have some kind of guidance to offer you, coming in and putting something out in front that's almost like on a silver platter, being able to give this to you. If you are finding that a lot of people in those positions aren't people you've listened to in the past, or no, thank you, I don't need that kind of guidance, you may want to humble yourself and listen again. I think it's important for you this week to understand the concept of being able to learn from everyone. There isn't anyone on the planet who can't teach you something. So your goal this week is going to be find out what that is. Capricorn, what is going on with you? Capricorn, I have you being called to play, and I have you being called to look into your past. So simultaneously, you're supposed to, let's say, with a joyful heart or with a happy attitude, making sure that you have fun things to do to take your mind off of it. I also have you digging into your past, which is skeletons in the closet, stuff swept under the carpet, or unfinished business. This week, it's going to be really important for you to once and for all lift up that rug, get out the broom, sweep out the dirt, and do what should have probably been done as spring cleaning. It's a little behind schedule. You've been saying things like, oh, I just don't have the energy, or, oh, well, it's a problem that's still going to be there, so why deal with it now? Or, oh, the world's just put one more thing on my plate. Yeah, granted, but that's everyone, and that's all the time. And we still make our priorities. You need to stop and take responsibility for the choices that you've been making. If you've been putting all your attention somewhere else, it's not because you couldn't have dealt with these issues. It's because you've chosen not to deal with these issues. And now you're out of time. So we're going to have to get this resolved, or it's going to affect you negatively for the next 2 months, including your finances. For those of you who found yourself in a relationship where the communication has been deteriorating, whether this be a boss, a spouse, or a family situation, you're going to have to bring it to the table this week and have almost like a come together meeting, powwow about it. This needs to be brought out. Everybody needs to put their cards on the table, and we need to find some kind of resolution, or we need to move on. Set proper boundaries. Aquarius, what is going on with you? I see new cars. I see new bicycles. I see airplanes. Aquarius, I'm seeing a lot of movement for you this week. Now, the airplanes can mean that some of you are traveling, or there is a trip being offered. There's something coming up. I hear a lot of wedding bells. That can also be marriage or invitation to go to a wedding. I'm seeing a new vehicle for many of you. Now, that can mean a new way of life. That can mean that you're moving up in prosperity in some way, and that it's going to take you really, really far. For others, I'm seeing you behind the wheel, which is a symbol of you getting more in control over your circumstances and feeling empowered by that, really positive about that. You should always be behind the wheel, especially in your dreams. Watch these things. It's a warning if you're not, that you're getting out of control. For those of you that I saw on bicycles, I saw you riding the bicycles. So what we're looking at, Aquarius, in a nutshell, for you is advancement in a lot of different ways. I feel this week is going to be easy for you. I feel that some of you who have been living with an illusion that you're more trapped in a circumstance than what you actually are, you're going to find that the healing energy of this week sort of just washes over you and just removes all of that. It reminds me of the ocean waves that come in, and every time those waves go back out, they take sand with them. They take dirt with them. And it's going to be as though something is revealed to you and you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe I did have more upper hand. Maybe I didn't have to stay here. Maybe I do have other options. I can feel more at peace, at the very least, with the circumstance that I was finding unbearable. For some of you Aquarius people, I have children or I have younger people. I have people who look up to you coming to you. And instead of asking you for more, they're giving you more. So you're actually getting something back in return for what you gave. And a lot of that is just love and support, but some of it seems to be a little bit more tangible than that. So it might even be somebody helping you acquire something that you need, or helping you move, or carrying the load for you when you couldn't. Okay. And this is really a beautiful thing. I love to see getting back. So Aquarius, good week for you for sure. But if you have bad attitude about it, you could overlook the whole entire thing. And I do see some of you carrying some woe is me attitude. Okay, so be careful. Turn that frown upside down. Pisces, what is going on for you? Last sign of the zodiac. Okay. All right, so Pisces, I want to say that this is a great week to watch your health. This is a great week to watch the health of those around you. If you have older people or people suffering with long-term conditions, cancerous conditions, any kind of dialysis, you know, anything where they've had to have heart replacements or surgeries on a regular, I want you, and I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but I want you to be mindful of them and be watching mostly for heart. And I want you to be mindful of yourself. This is a great week to ask, have I been taking care of myself? Am I smoking? Am I eating a lot of junk? Am I exercising enough? What have I put into my body? We are talking about a week of karma. If you have been treating your body like junk, you will see junk results. And if you've been doing well, then I think you're going to ride right over this wave on top of it and kind of soar, you know, into smoother waters. But some of you are going to have some hard work to do and to put forward. Now, others, I'm also seeing that this is all about you examining a situation. Is this frozen again?
Well, mine's going. It's pausing in and out. So I'm
okay.
trying to deal with it after.
So I can also see that some of you are going to be dealing with a situation where you're examining a choice. You're saying to yourself, I've put in a lot of time. I've put in a lot of effort. I have been working at this thing and I'm just not getting back out of it what I had hoped. This could be classes. This could be a job. This could be a relationship. I'm not going to say specifically. There's so many of you, and we're talking sun, moon, and rising. So we're just really talking about you looking at a circumstance where you feel that for the amount of effort, you should be getting back more. And while your heart is still in it, while you really still want to hang in there and get that payout, you aren't sure that it's ever going to come. And you're starting to feel like you want to flee. I think that this is a great week for you to tap into your joy guide, your guardian angel, and say some prayers. Tap into your higher mind and ask in your gut, okay, granted, I have these feelings, but where am I in timeline? Am I definitely done and I'm supposed to move on, or am I just feeling like I want to be done? You can know when it is time to leave a situation, any situation, the hardest situations, by your gut telling you that there's a sense of peace with this and it is time, or it is overdue, or if you feel like I'm just not done yet, I just have to stay here. And everything around you and everyone around you and all the logic in the world can say, that's crazy, you shouldn't be giving this anything more. But if you leave early, you're going to get sent right back. So be mindful about when it's time to go. Okay. All right, Pisces, best of luck with all of that. It's really going to require some inner work. Looks like a great week for the most part for everybody. So enjoy. I will see you. I believe we have a show again next week. Do we?
24th.
The October 24th will be the next Ask a Medium show. For now, we are going to start taking your personal questions. So for all of you logged in, keep posting. Paul's going to start giving me those. And for those of you who have subscribed to me on YouTube, I will see you for your November monthly horoscopes. And then again for October 24th. Thank you.